Hello, MIT 3953. As promised, I'm going to make some videos here to serve as supplemental material for your written response assignment on the question of the relationship between memory and politics. But at the same time, I want for these videos to actually serve as a kind of consolidation and recapitulation of discussions we've been having and course content that we've been coming across, and to also introduce some new themes and ideas and questions that are going to sort of run through the course as we carry on for the rest of the semester. Okay, so I'm going to read from the preface to Paul Antze and Michael Lambek's book, Tense Past. So here they write, "We live in a time when memory has entered public discourse to an unprecedented degree. Memory is invoked to heal, to blame, to legitimate. It has become a major idiom in the construction of identity, both individual and collective, and a site of struggle as well as identification. Memory has found a prominent place in politics, both as a source of authority and a means of attack." Okay, so it really speaks to that, the discussions we've been having of hegemony, memory as a source of authority, and then a means of attack really speaks very much to the discussions we've been having about contesting the past, okay, and contestation. So they say further on down, "How is our experience of memory being altered by the new political burdens thrust upon it, and what are the moral implications?" Okay, so I want to focus on that penultimate statement for a moment. How is our experience of memory being altered by the new political burdens thrust upon it? So really what this is suggesting is that memory is linked inextricably and intimately to politics, and neither of these phenomena, memory nor politics, are stable phenomena. They change over time. They're very organic. So any changes that are happening in the political sphere, any new questions or problems that are arising, because the world changes, right, as we move into the future, and any changes in our understanding of what politics actually means and is going to actually mean that there are changes to our relationship to memory as well. Okay, further along they say, "Our basic premise is that memories are never simply records of the past, but are interpretive reconstructions that bear the imprint of local narrative conventions, cultural assumptions, discursive formations and practices, and social contexts of recall and commemoration." Okay, so here we're starting to get into the terrain of what we talked about that was called speech act theory, or the performative dimension of language and, of course, of memory. Okay, so they carry on. "When memories recall acts of violence against individuals or entire groups, they carry additional burdens as indictments or confessions, or as emblems of a victimized identity." So the additional burdens, okay? "Here, acts of remembering often take on performative meaning within a charged field of contested moral and political claims." Okay, so memory is never just a statement about the past in order to identify what is true and what is not. Okay, it's never just simply a record or an archive. It always has an additional dimension which has to do with relations of power and organizing social relations in the present. Okay, so if we're trying to change a historical narrative, we're doing that for a reason that is our further or broader objective. Okay, we're trying to make something productive happen that's in the interest of ourselves or our group. So there's a politics at work there. And I just want to point out here that this focus on the local narrative conventions, the cultural assumptions, the discursive formations, okay, and the social contexts of recall and commemoration. Now this is a very sort of specific chain of language that I want to linger on, because what they're doing here is breaking things down into these categories to suggest that, every memory is not just an index of the past or a reference to the past. It actually is an opportunity to explore the narrative conventions that were used to create the memory and to share the memory, okay? It's an opportunity to explore the assumptions that are embedded in that memory and the assumptions that are embedded in our interpretation of that memory as we uncover it and share it and circulate it in the moment, right? Whether it's among friends or groups or larger communities. And then finally, there's that reference to the local context in which we actually engage with memory and share it. So these environments, even, we talked a lot about spaces and places and sites, and even there's an opportunity for us to reflect on the dynamics at play there, and how a politics is attached to even the space in which we find memories and engage with them and share them. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. Hopefully this serves as a bit of leverage for you to think about how you might begin to answer the question of what politics has to do with memory. Okay, lots of different directions we can go in, but I think that this is a really nice resource that kind of gathers things together and hopefully will add force to your thinking. Okay, until the next video, ciao, ciao.